Okay, how to use Glamour Magic to be less detectable when you're avoiding certain people, groups of people, agencies. You get it. First things first, this is the real world and not Harry Potter. This is not an invisibility cloak. Use realistic and common sense precautions. What I'm talking about is meant to supplement your real world actions. So, there's this anecdote about Marilyn Monroe and how when she was already famous, she was walking down a sidewalk with a photographer's wife, and her name was Amy Greene, and no one was coming up to Marilyn Monroe. And then Marilyn says, "Do you want to see her?" Meaning the Marilyn Monroe. And Amy Greene says it was like a light switch. Marilyn made a subtle shift in her demeanor, and suddenly people noticed her. And this is what I'm talking about. Marilyn may not have been a witch, at least not consciously, but what's described is a manipulation of her energetic field. Amy Greene described it as a light switch, but I want you to think of it as a light dimmer, where you incrementally increase or decrease your energetic field or output. So there's also this glamour that witches have been recommending to victims of DV called the rock glamour. And it works the same way. Through visualization, the subject imagines that they are as unremarkable and as unnoticeable as a rock on the ground. And by blending in with the environment, it'll decrease the amount of harm they receive, ideally. So I want you to imagine either a rock or a light dimmer. I prefer the dimmer because it's incremental, you have a bit more control over it. This will be easy if you know the basics of grounding, centering, clearing, and protecting because it's just one more step. But if you're completely new to this, I want you to stand still and imagine a field of energy emanating from your body. You might feel a hot tingling sensation after a couple of minutes of visualizing it. Once you have it in your inner eye, I want you to imagine you're pressing a light dimmer down and you're turning it down the light. You're sucking in that energy so that it's not visible and therefore you will not be as visible. You can add an intention to make it be a bit easier for you. And you can say something like Marilyn Monroe, I have total control of when I'm seen. Like Violet from The Incredibles, I can disappear in a crowd and control my energy field. I can move around the city unperceived, like in Doctor Who when they wear a perception filter. Like a rock, I blend in with my surroundings. Like a light dimmer, I control how visible I am. This takes practice. I'm not telling you to try this in the moment when, for the first time in the moment when you're being chased. Don't do that. I want you to practice this every day because it might take weeks for you to do it at will and months to master it. So make this a daily practice. Visualize it before you go walk in a crowd or something. Now, if someone is actively looking for you and they know what you look like, they might still notice you, but it will take them a second to realize you're in the room with them or like at their eye level. And that might buy you some time to get away. So give it a shot and let me know how it goes.